Hello. Okay, so I'm Christina. I am at home because we're quarantined. Um, Anywhoots, hope you guys are all staying safe. I know some of you guys may have seen me. I'm in the kitchen at Native Women's Resource Center, and I do the lunch there. Um, Also, today I will be showing you how I make Bannock, and it's a traditional bread. So, what I'll be using today is simple ingredients: flour, baking powder, salt. I will use a canola oil, but depending where you're from, um, you're going to use different things, and water. Some people use milk, some people use eggs, some people put sugar in their bannock. It just really depends on where you're from and what you grew up with. I grew up with my grandma making bannock with lard. So she would chop up the lard and she would put it in the flour and the salt and baking powder mixture, and then she would add her water after. So I don't do it that way. I use a canola oil or any kind of oil, but I think canola is pretty good. Um, just to So that way vegetarians and vegans can enjoy the bannock. So this recipe that I am doing today is going to be um, just enough, I guess, for a dinner or just whatever to have around for a couple days. Bannock is usually good for about 2 or 3 days, but I'm picky. I like fresh bannock. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. So let's get started. All right, so here we are. Here's our flour, all-purpose flour. And what I like to do is salt. Salt is definitely optional, so it's entirely up to you. I would say maybe about 1/4 a teaspoon. For this is 4 cups of flour, so I just like to sprinkle. Okay, that's it. And then we have, ta-da! Magic baking powder. Yes, this is the stuff. If you don't have magic baking powder, sorry, but what I like to do for 4 cups is 2 tablespoons. Okay, here you go, 2 tablespoons. Ta-da! Okay, so I used to see my grandmother do this all the time. She would mix it, right? So that's how she would do it. So after that, we would just get our water. So I like to make a little well. I don't know about everybody else, but I like to do a well. Wells are fun. Traditionally, I would do it with my hands or whatever, but I'm gonna use this guy here. Okay. So when you add your water for 4 cups, it's approximately 2 cups of water, okay? So I usually do about half. And then the oil I'm going to use is a canola oil. So I do a counting method. For every cup, I count. So I'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. That's just 4 cups. Okay? So you have this mixture in there. So then I start to just kind of mix it up. And then as I mix, you'll see it starting to come together. Now the trick is, if you over mix it, what's going to happen is you're going to get a rock. You're going to end up crying and breaking some teeth, if they have teeth. Or you can give it to your baby and suck on it. I don't know. Anyway, I know, cheesy. Anyways, so there I go. I'm mixing it up. Now, like I said, you don't have to knead it, okay? No kneading necessary. Because if you knead, you're going to get a rock. So you just kind of want to gather up the flour that's on the sides. Okay? And then we're gonna go from there. Then you'll see it start to form its ball and stuff like that. Now, not because I'm at home, I'm gonna just do this here. But what I do is I take my hand, roll it around. Okay, there we go. Whoops, got some there. So yeah, I learned to make bannock about 6 years ago, to be honest. But when I was a kid, you know, I grew up in a low-income family and in the city here, and sometimes we had nothing to have, and I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna make some fry bread, you know. And places like NWRCT is great to have because I didn't know about this when I was a kid, but I'm sure my mom did. But you know, anyways, so here's the bannock right here. You might have a little bit of flour left over there, but that's okay. So there it is. The texture is soft, and it shouldn't be hard. It should be perfect. So there we go. You got your bannock. Okay, and then after that, you grease a pan, and we're gonna put it in the oven. Okay, so we got our pan. So you take your bannock. So it is lightly greased. So there we go. I flip it over. See, it's kind of weird on the side. That's fine. But then, ta-da! I flip it on this side. And it becomes beautiful. So, if you have a convection oven at home, I would do 375 for this amount. For convection, 375 at 35 minutes. It should be perfect. Anyhow, that's how you do it. But if you don't have a convection oven, you're going to do maybe, I would still do it on 375. And I would monitor it. It might take a bit longer because the convection oven blows the hot air around. So regular ovens, which I have, you know, every oven is different. So you're going to have to figure out your oven. But general time is about 35 minutes. You'll know if it's done and how it looks like on top if you want it nice and golden. Stick a toothpick in it in the highest point. And then if it comes out clean, you know it's perfect. I don't need to do that now. I just do it. So, yep, that's what I do. So this bad boy is going to go into my handy dandy oven. I don't know if you guys all can see, but here it goes. Say bye-bye.